What's up, pioneers? So it is March, it is Women's Month, Women's History Month, and I'm for sure here for this because women rule, we rock, we are the best, especially Black women. What up? But I also am particularly excited because I definitely want to talk about this month issues that I feel like very much plague us as women. And today we're talking about jealousy. So jealousy is one of those things where it's like you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. You're like, oh, she has this, she has that. I can't compare to that. And of course, that's normal. We get in that mode. And it's not even just women. I know it's an everybody thing where we have a tendency to compare, stack ourselves up to somebody else, and then deem ourselves unworthy. Happens, not a bad thing, except when we find ourselves lacking to the point where we start negatively talking to ourselves, where we can't even honestly function in a proper manner because we're so busy being like, oh, well, she has curly hair and my hair is straight and stupid, and she has a big butt and I don't. And it's just like, okay, but at what point does that stop being so much of a she's better than me and a she just has a different feature than me, you know? And I know for me, my first experience of jealousy came from my sister. So I have a sister who's 4 years older than me, if y'all, remember the 26 random facts about me. And I just remember being jealous of her for most of our growing up years. I always felt like she was more of a people person, more social, more charismatic. I thought she was prettier than me. And I think the biggest thing too is I felt like such a freaking weird, awkward human being that didn't deserve to exist. And I felt like she was this actual normal person that just functioned really well in society. So I always stacked us up together. I always felt like I was lacking when it came to her. I feel like we've had discussions about this now, so this shouldn't come as a shock to her. But that jealousy also corroded my self esteem. Like, I consistently, throughout my elementary school years, middle school years, and high school years, felt like I was an imposter. Like, I didn't deserve to exist. Like, I was just like, wow. And then it transitioned from not only my sister to now I'm looking at every other girl. I'm like, oh, well, she has a big butt and I have a white girl butt. Like, oh, she has this pretty curly hair and I have this chemically processed hair. Like, she has a sparkling personality and I'm a potato. Like, it was just all these things. And it's like, where did this come from? Nobody said this to me. Nobody was ever like, Jasmine, you're a potato. Now, granted, when I was younger, I was teased a lot by my relatives for things like being weird or different, being an Oreo, having a white girl butt, having big feet because I was tall. So I had like 9, 10 size feet at like middle school when my cousins had like 7, 8s. So I was called both feet. Yeah. I mean, so you can imagine like there was a ton of content for me to be jealous about for other people. Like there was so much for me to just be like, I would really just rather not be me. Like, I have all of these issues that are consistently pointed out to me, either indirectly or directly. I'm jealous. So I feel like the biggest thing for me in helping me navigate my own jealousy was having to really like sit down with myself and just be like, okay, Jasmine. So like the reality is that I can be jealous all day long. I can want all of these people attributes, but I'm not going to get them unless I work out to get the big girl butt that I want, or get hair extensions to get the hair. Like, it's so many, I can add things and I can do things to change myself, but at the end of the day, the manufacturer default is going to still be me. No matter what I add, no matter what I change, I'm still going to be me. So it's like I can be me and be miserable and compare myself and stack myself lower than everybody, or I can be me and accept the fact that I am who I am and I'm going to change. My body's changed so many times over the years. I was once chubby, super, super chubby, and now I'm losing weight again. Like, my weight fluctuates, like my hair has grown so much. At first it used to be really short and I hated it. Pressed, she out here. She is the lion's mane. She is living her best life. And so it's just like, there's so many things that I was focused on of like, I want this and I don't have this. And it's just like, well, am I being patient with myself? Am I being kind to myself? Or am I just comparing myself to other people and stacking myself as lower? They're not. And the thing about jealousy too is there are people who are going to stack themselves against you and think that they're lower than you. Like, there's not one just perfect person. And I know, especially with like society and beauty standards and us being like, oh, well, she's beautiful, so like she's the standard. And I'm sure she has things about herself that she does not like. I feel like with jealousy, we get so caught up in our own little world that we don't stop to realize that for whatever I'm jealous of somebody else is jealous of me. I'm sure there are things that people, I can't imagine, but I'm sure there are things people want that I have. Like, I'm sure. Because that's how jealousy works. Like, it's just it's not always logical. Sometimes it's literally something simple as, dang, I really wish I just had like a size 7 foot. Like, yikes. So this comparison thing, if it's not like productive, we gotta stop it. Yes, there are beautiful people. There are people out there that are gonna be more beautiful than you, more smart or smarter. Sorry, more smart. Yikes. What am I doing with my life? There are people that are gonna have talents that are better than yours. Like, there's always gonna be a better. So with comparison, it's like, if you're not comparing yourself to you, it's really no point in comparing yourself to other people, because everybody was made different. Even twins were made different, whether they look exactly alike. God put something special in each and every one of us. Like, he perfectly well crafted each and every one of us, which is the point number 2, is that God made you exactly the way you are for a reason. And I was running like a few months ago still of like, why am I like this? Like, why did God make me like this? Like, I'm weird, I'm awkward, but I'm also hilarious and cute. But it's just like, why did he make me like this specifically? Like, this is so annoying. Like, I don't like being like this. And it's just like, do I not like being like this because of me, or because I'm so busy comparing myself to other people that I'm not leaning into the reasons why he created me to be like this? And I feel like one of my main things too is that if I was like anybody else, I wouldn't be drawn to the audience that I'm drawn to. I wouldn't connect to the people that I connect to if I was not me. If I did not have my little special Jasmine powers, then I wouldn't connect to the people who are drawn to me. But that also means that I wouldn't be able to help the people that are drawn to me, the people that actually listen to me, the people that actually care about me, the people that actually understand what I've been through and can relate. And that's the thing too, is it's just like, we all have that power to connect to people, to bond to people. But again, because we're so stuck in, oh, well, I feel like I'm inadequate, or I'm like this, that link doesn't always get matched. And one of my biggest things that I would like to accomplish in this, however long or short my life is that I want to be obedient to God. And I just feel like me denying myself and me constantly criticizing myself and thinking that I'm lower than other people, that's not being obedient to God. Because he didn't say, oh, you worse than your neighbor. He never said that. Like, equals, like, we're all equals. We just have differences, which makes sense. Because why would we all be the same? Why would we want to be the same? You want to, but, and this thing is that Fairly Odd Parents episode where he was just like, let's all be the same, and it was gray blobs, but they still found things to be like, oh, well, I'm better than you because of this. And it's just like, even with that, we're always, again, still going to stack ourselves up to people and compare ourselves to people, when that's just not helpful. It's not. The third thing I feel like that has helped me is constantly building myself up. So when I look at myself in the mirror, I'm laughing because I feel like if somebody were to see like me throughout the day, they'd be like, this chick is weird, because I talk to myself. Everybody knows that I talk to myself. I talk to myself out loud. I used to do it internally, and then I realized that I really didn't care what people think about me, so I started doing it externally. And so I like start to say things about myself. I'm like, wow, like your skin is looking really good today. Like, wow, like, oh, look at you, like you looking real good. And sometimes I'll look at myself naked in the mirror and I'll be like, okay, find something that you like about yourself. And sometimes it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, bro, like this little extra weight, like right around my belly, my little arms. Like, you can find a million things that's wrong with you, but can you find at least 5 that are right with you? Like, can you really just sit down and be like, okay, these 5 things are not actually bad? And I feel like, especially for women, like if we're too confident, then we get that, oh, well, you just think you all that. You just think you Miss Thing. You just think you cocky. And it's just like, forget all that riffraff, because again, people are gonna find fault or issue with you no matter what you do. So either you could be self-deprecating, or you could be the confident queen that God created you to be. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being self-deprecating. I'm gonna be the confident queen. Yes, I think I'm all that. You know why? Because my creator says I am, because he says we're all that. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I'm also not gonna sit here and deny myself and make myself small or lower just to placate you, just to please you, because guess what? At the end of the day, you don't have a heaven or hell to put me in. And that's been the most liberating thing for me with anything. It's just like, okay, let me think about the judgments of others. Do they have a heaven or hell to put me in? At the end of all of this, am I going to be a servant slave to people? No, I'm not. you don't have any power to send me anywhere. So why am I going to give you power while I'm on this earth? Why am I going to choose to be miserable? Because you miserable too. And that's the thing with people pleasing, is that they're not happy when you do whatever they want to do either. Like, you placating and playing into them does nothing for either one of you. So guess what? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna please God. That's what I'm gonna do. That's where my heart is. That's where my heart lies. I'm not gonna please humans. Y'all can kick rocks for all I care. I'm here to serve y'all. I'm here to love y'all as the Lord called me to do. But guess what he also calls you to do? Love yourself. The verse is literally love your neighbor as yourself. And I feel like we get so caught up in loving our neighbor, coveting what our neighbor has, comparing ourselves to our neighbor, that it's just like you completely miss out on that as yourself. We can only love people at the capacity that we love ourselves, which also means that be jealous of past versions of you or future versions of you. Compare yourself to a future version of you where you know you finna crush your goals, your dreams, your hopes, all that good stuff. You finna walk out your purpose that God has planned and destined for you. Like, be jealous, compare yourself to that. And that's been my fourth point and last thing is, I would like to compare myself, and not in a, oh, I'm fatter than I was 10 years ago, or I'm more lazy now, but just more of goal-wise. What do I want? What do I want moving forward for the next 10 years, and how do I get it? Compare yourself in a constructive manner. And if there is something that you're like, you know, I would like a big, juicy, peachy booty, do some squats, go to the gym, do some research on that. Like, there are things that you can do to change yourself, but you have to, I think the biggest point of that is you have to love and accept yourself where you're at, because you can change yourself for people, for yourself, but if you don't love yourself in all of your shapes and forms, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change who you are at the core, which is you not loving yourself. That's all I gotta say. Jealousy, rough. I don't like it. But I think we can do this as women, as human beings. We can do this, and be very intentional about your thoughts. Make sure that for everything that you think about yourself that might be negative, or you're like, oh, I'm not doing this, go ahead and throw in 3 positive things. So if I'm like, oh, her hair is really curly and mine is like trash, I'm like, excuse you, are you talking to your go ahead and name 3 things that you like about yourself this if you want to talk negative. And I'm like, dang it, okay. So I'm intelligent. I'm like, nope, you got to do something physical since you was focused on the physical with her. And I'm like, okay, fine. So like, my eyes are pretty, like my skin is really good, and my skin is soft also. My skin is soft. And so then it's like, okay, cool. I'm not so drowning in the negative that I can't see me for who I am and accept me for who I am. That's it. I think at the end of the day, it's about acceptance. And that's not going to be 100%. There are days I wake up and I'm like, I ain't got nothing for you, pimp. I mean, it's a body, you alive, and that's okay. But it's not okay to beat yourself up to the point where you don't feel good at all, where you don't want to be here because you feel like you're so inadequate compared to everybody else, because you're not. And the only person that's in control of that and can change that is you. Because they're not telling you you're inadequate. That's just something that you're telling yourself. Rewrite your narrative. Take your power back. And I will see you guys next Monday.